This is the Music Theory Nuggets series for ABRSM Grade 1 Theory. First of all, we're going to look at question 1.1. Circle the correct time signature for each of the bars. Let's look at example A. So the first thing that we need to do with this one is to see if we can put some very obvious dividing lines in. Now, as we're not going to be able to write on the exam paper because it's online, the easiest thing to do is to just jot down the rhythm onto a piece of scrap paper. Now, you are allowed to have some A4 blank pieces of paper into your exam, and I would thoroughly encourage you to use every last bit of that advantage and write lots and lots of things down. So at the beginning of the exam, you've probably already drawn a keyboard, and you might have already drawn a rhythm tree. And you might even just jotted down what you know of the circular fifths. So it's all there to you as resources to look at. But on a spare bit of paper, I would write down the following. All I've done is written down just the rhythm from there. And we can get rid of the pitch. We don't have to worry about the pitch. We're just worried about the rhythm. And then the next thing to do is to kind of divide it up into where we think some of the beat lines might be. Well, to me, there's a very obvious divide there, and there's also an obvious divide there. Now, I'm not sure whether to put my next line there or there, so let's work out what we've got so far. So if we start at the end, and that is one big tip, you do not need to start at the start of the bar. You can jump straight in and put a beat down for absolutely anything, whether it's the beginning, end, or the middle, and then you can kind of like see what's happening. So I've also put a beat at the beginning. Now, I know that there's 4 semiquavers and that equals a crotchet. And since I've got a crotchet at the end at the beginning, I'm just going to go ahead and put another one there and put my dividing line there. And oh look, what have we got left? We've got this. We've got a quaver rest and a quaver note, which adds up to 4 crotchets. So that might explain what the answer could be. Okay, right, let's have a look at B, and we're going to do exactly the same thing again. So again, you won't have the chance to write on the screen, so the best thing to do is to just jot your rhythm down on your spare bit of paper. So in fact, let me just do it exactly like the example. So we're going to do the stems the right way as well, even though it doesn't really matter. Okay. So it doesn't have to be neat, it literally has to be something that you understand. And now let's find a beat separator. Now really there is only one place and it's going to be there. So we're not allowed to split up anything that is beamed. So, okay, crotchet on this side, that's easy peasy. And we know that these, the dotted quaver and the semiquaver, they also form a crotchet too. So that gives you the answer. We've got 2 crotchets there, so hopefully that should tell you that that's going to be the correct answer. Now, if you're not sure what the bottom note means, I think in grade 1, the best thing to think is it means crotchets. So 4 on the bottom, at any of the examples on the bottom, 4 on the bottom means crotchets. And in grade 2 and above, we can talk about why that is. Okay, and C, hopefully you remember that C is a short form for 4/4. It stands for common time, as it's the most common time that we're likely to see, and it is 4/4. Okay, right, so let's go on to our third and final example that we've got. And again, we're going to do exactly the same thing for C. We're going to write this on our scrap paper because we don't have the ability to write on the screen in the exam, and it's worth taking the time to do this. You've got way longer than you could possibly need for the exam, so use that to your advantage. Okay, so this one, I think I'm going to put my beat dividing lines here, and that's going to make 1 crotchet. Okay, now we've got a dotted crotchet, which we know is a crotchet, and then the dot makes it a half. So we've got a half a crotchet left with this dot, and this is the other half because it's a quaver. So in actual fact, that makes up a whole crotchet. So there we've got 1, 2, 3, and it could only possibly be 3/4. But make sure that you take the time to write the rhythm out on the paper, because then you can put those beat lines in, and that's the most important thing to this question.